Welcome everyone back to part 3 in this video, or in this series. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys to remove the remaining of the harness out of the way. But before we can do that, we still need to remove a couple things, like for example the radiator hose, the thermostat housing, this connector. There's just some stuff right here that we just need to move out of the way before we can actually get to those connectors to remove the harness. So we're just gonna go ahead and start by removing the radiator first, and then we'll go from there, guys. Alright, so we need to remove this shield first to remove the radiator, and this is just held on by 4 12mm bolts. One here, and 2 over here. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove that. Alright, so we're ready to remove the shield from the bottom, and as you guys can tell, it is dirty. And down here, guys, it is not looking really good either. Everything is really oily, and I can definitely tell. I don't know what I got myself into, to be honest with you guys, but we'll see how this whole project turns out in the end. Hopefully you guys like this content. Please subscribe if you already haven't. Please like this video. So let's go ahead and continue this build. So I'm going to remove this hose clamp. I'm going to drain out the coolant, whatever coolant or whatever it has, and then we'll be able to remove this radiator from the top. Alright, so I'm starting to drain it from this radiator hose. I would have drained it from the Peacock, but I think it's just much faster through this hose, and plus all of this is going to get replaced either way. So I don't like the color that's coming out. It's kind of like an orange. So this kind of indicates to me that it was ran with just pure water. And when I took off the radiator cap as well, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a lot of corrosion inside the radiator itself. So yeah, we're definitely going to be replacing this radiator. So let's go ahead and drain it. Alright guys, so I was able to drain it all. Unfortunately I didn't video all the pool of rust water that was in here. But something that I found out, if you guys can see this, so there's like a chunk of metal like right here. And I guess all that rust just deteriorated over time. And I'm really disappointed. But we'll see how bad it is once we actually take out the whole engine out of the car. I mean, I know it's pretty bad, but I just want to see like really how bad it is. But we're gonna go ahead and continue with taking out the radiator. So our next step, we're gonna remove this fan shroud a little bit, and that should give us enough access for us to, or it should give us clearance for us to actually remove the radiator without having to remove the fan shroud. But we're gonna go ahead and do that first. And the fan shroud is just held on by like 4 10mm bolts, 2 on each side. And then the radiator itself should be by 12mm, same thing, 2 on each side, so it'd be 4 bolts. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove that. So this is what I did. I took out the fan shroud, and all I did was just literally push it forward so it would just hang right there. And we're just gonna remove the other 4 12mm bolts, 2 on each side, and this whole radiator should just go ahead and lift straight up. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so I removed all of the 4 12mm bolts, and this radiator should be ready to come out. Just be careful, because when you take out the radiator, there's still some coolant left over, so make sure not to tilt it. And then the shroud as well should be able to come out freely, just like that. And there it is, guys. Check this out. Here's the shroud, and here's the radiator. We are definitely replacing this. As you guys can see, it was probably leaking internally, and I do not want to reuse this just because of the hole rusted inside. So but it gives us definitely a lot of more space to work with to take this whole engine out. And we're gonna go ahead and continue with removing some of the more parts over here. Alright, so I want to go ahead and disconnect this temperature sensor, which goes right here, and I just moved it aside. And next step that I'm going to do, I'm going to start removing these two 12 millimeters to remove the thermostat housing. And then I know I have plenty of space to take these vacuum hoses out, but I don't know, I just want to like document it just so I know how to put everything back together properly. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and remove this. So take a look at that, guys. That is gross. I'm definitely going to be cleaning this part out. I think it's still salvageable. So I just have to really clean out really good. I'm probably going to respray this as well. Look at that, guys. That is gross. This is what happens when you just run pure water. Yeah, look at that. That gasket failed, and I'm honestly surprised that this head gasket did not go. So look at that. That is just gross. And sadly enough, this is actually part of the housing, actually of the lower intake, which is, I'm just really disappointed on this. But we're just gonna go ahead and continue with the build, and you guys will see. Okay, so the next step I'm gonna remove these two little hoses. I guess these are the last two hoses for the passageways right here. And next step that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this 12 millimeter right here and this other 12 millimeter right there, just so this whole passageway can come out as well. And most likely, like most of this, I'm most likely gonna reuse as well. And I'm gonna probably blow them out with like pressurized air, so I know these passageways are clean and just so there's no dirt. But you guys will see how I clean it. And let's go ahead and remove this, and I'm also going to label these. But yeah, they go to this sensor right here. I'm not too sure which sensor this is. I'm not too sure what it's called. I know on many different 22REs, the vacuum lines are all different, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. These are the ones how mine are connected. So I was able to remove those two vacuum hoses that lead to these bottom passageways right here. As you guys can see, no one has taken them off in years, because that's the original color of that sensor. So, and then after that, I was able to remove this 12 millimeter and that other 12 millimeter, the nut and bolt, and that gives me access to take out this passageway, this one right here. And so this is what I'm talking about. You got the nut right here, and you got the 12 millimeter bolt right there. And that gave us some kind of room right here. So again, we're kind of just working our way down, removing stuff out of the way so we can get to other stuff. And look at that, guys, look at that. There's just a random miscellaneous bolt just sitting right here. I love rebuilding cars because you just find stuff like this out of nowhere. Alright, let's go ahead and continue with this. Before I forget, this end, or this hose that's really close to the thermostat, it's going to connect here, and then this is the part that connects to the throttle body. So we're just going to go ahead and remove that, and then we're going to put that with those two hoses, just so I know where they came from. And the next step, and as you guys can see, I guess someone has tampered it with this before, and I guess they put like a regular connector on that little thing right there. Again, I don't know what that's called, unfortunately. I'm just remembering and video recording where they go. But yeah, I mean, you just have to be careful with these kind of like sensors or these connectors. They're just brittle, and you know, just something like that you have to be just very careful with. So I'll show you guys what I removed next. Alright guys, so I did some of this off camera just because I have some bad luck when I do it on camera, but I carefully removed most of these little C-clips like I showed you guys in the previous video, and I was able to remove this, you know, this green connector which goes into this one, and the brown one that goes into this one. And this is the part where I was more careful, where I had to take out the C-clip from the first injector. Again, I have barely little room to take it out. I did it for the second injector, which is right here, and I also did it for the third injector, which I already labeled and everything, and the last injector that's right back there. And there it is, guys, all of the fuel rail and the injectors, except for this one. This one doesn't want to budge, but I'll take it out later. And you guys can see, this is what I'm talking about. So the car, it's like this. So what I did was give you guys a close-up. So what I did, I removed this 12mm bolt right here. This one I had to remove this 10mm or else it's gonna cover it. There's also a 12mm right here. So what I did was just take out this 10mm, nudge this line just a little bit, not to break it, just a little bit, so it'll give me access. I removed the fuel line with the clamp, and I also removed the 17mm bolt with the banjo bolt. So I removed the 17mm from here, and that fuel line that goes right over here, and that gives us plenty of room. We're almost done taking off the whole connector, but most of it is pretty much loose. And there's still a couple connectors down here that I need to take out before I can actually remove this lower intake. And I will actually show you guys in part 4 in this video, in this series I mean. And hopefully we can get this done. But we're making great progress. As you guys can see, we started with a lot, and it's slowly just it is slowly just becoming a small project. But we're doing a lot, guys. Hopefully this is really informative for you guys, and I'll see you guys in part 4. Bye.